Hey, welcome back everyone. So in today's video, I'm going to draw the texture on Captain America's suit. So let me know what you think and let's jump in and talk about the process. With this one, I just really wanted to show you how much I struggled and how I got through it. I like doing that because I think it's silly to always just show art at my best and say, okay, this is how you do it. I want to show you that even at my level, which I don't consider myself some grander level, but I've been drawing a long time, that I still mess up and that I still have to work through things and what that shows me along the way. So with this one, you can see I'm drawing the scales very flat, which is so, I must have been tired, and I did. I started this late at one night, and then I came back to it the next day, and you'll see I show when that transition happens here. And I did start to get it a lot better the next day, but I think it's a two-part deal. Like, part of it is when you're tired or frustrated with a certain thing to obviously take a break. We all know that. And then the other is that you do have to work through a few things to see what works, what doesn't. So you are problem solving, and that's what I feel like I'm doing here. But I was obviously drawing things too flat over the muscle, which that kills the depth right away. It doesn't matter how good the texture is implemented. If it's not curving with the muscle, it's going to flatten it out. And then also, I was connecting the little points of the scales at odd areas. So if you bring them to where they connect at every edge to edge of those little triangles basically that I'm using now, which is the wrong shape by the way, but edge to edge it flattens them out as well. They need to be spaced. So it's just these little differences in the texture that I wasn't seeing. And so sometimes I will try to draw stuff like that without looking at reference, and that's generally another mistake. Like if you're just not getting it, go for reference, take a minute, and study from somebody who's doing it right. But I let my ego get in the way at times and I just try to work through it. So here's the next day. And again, I do think this is a big part of seeing more clearly. Like when you take a break and then come back, especially the next day, you're going to be able to look at the art objectively and hopefully see any problems that you were having, be able to see past them, right? So I do feel like that helped. I'm still kind of messing up a little bit here. I noticed that specifically in the time lapse because it was going well at first. I probably should have started the pattern at the top of the shoulder, for instance, and wrapped down. I started in the midway point, which is a bit silly for a pattern like this. But I also noticed as I was getting down to the bottom that I started squeezing the texture in, compressing it. I think at first I was thinking, well, that's what it would do, right? Those scales would squeeze in and wrap over the shoulder. I think really the better way to do that is just add more shadow to those scales. Maybe get them a little bit smaller, but I think I forced it and it looked very compressed and again, very forced. But the other thing is that generally when you do these patterns, you start off getting a feel for it, and then as you add more and more of it throughout the character, it just generally gets easier, like anything else. So you first have to find the pattern, then you almost have to draw it long enough to where it becomes second nature. Now, if you draw the same character all the time, over and over, obviously areas like this aren't going to be much of a problem for you. In fact, you might be looking at this and going, well, God, that's such an easy thing to draw, Rob. I can't believe you're struggling with that. I can't either, but it's just one of those things where you walk into certain scenarios and all of a sudden it's like my brain's not working the way it should. But I don't give up there. So I almost did. I felt the part where you want to give up. I definitely did. I was like, I could easily draw this. Not only that, the pose was off, but I felt like I could easily draw this in a easy pose, easy texture, and be done with this. And bam, I got a Captain America shot. But then I thought, well, that's the easy out, right? I should just muscle through it, take my time, keep studying it. Even if I set this off to the side and come back to it, I need to come back to it. And I need to be, I need to figure this out. I got to quit giving up on something that, just doesn't go well, because that's not when we learn. We learn when things aren't going well. We learn more when things are hard for us. So I try to remember that, and I did, and I just kept going with it. And I feel like by the time I got to the chest here, I was a lot more aware of what the pattern should do. You know, it's like anything else. Repeat, rinse, and repeat. And what are you going to do? You're going to build a sense of competency. I can't even say the word. With that particular thing. Why? Because you've done it so much. At a certain point, you're just like, oh, well, yeah, it's easy. Let me show you. I've done it 1,000 times. But usually what happens is we get frustrated before we can get into any length of numbers of a certain thing, and we take the easy out. I really want to avoid that. Like I think there's plenty of times I do that, and maybe there's times as well where it's even smart to do that. You got a deadline. You're doing something that's just for fun. I mean, maybe it's not that important for you to sit there and muscle through it. You don't think you're ever going to use it again. You know, like I guess that would be a time. Like, what if you were never going to do it again? Would you really keep fighting through it? So now I've slowed the time lapse down just to show you. I wanted to make sure I show you one in real time of what I feel like started to get it. Just basically define a curve first. You know, in this case, across the shoulder, chest, whatever it is. Overlap the scales where they are spaced. Okay, they don't connect end to end. I think that for some reason made them look more natural, and then make sure to finish them off to the edge. I think that's what led to me compressing them down into the bottom of the shoulder area, is because I wasn't finishing it to the edge. So it's very easy to skew a texture like this and just you think you're connecting it horizontally across that curve, but you're not actually going up a level, if that makes sense. Like just picture them like seats in a stadium or something like that, and kind of get that rhythm of thinking of where they have to be consistently aligned, not compressed to the edges or something. But I don't know. I feel like it just got easier as I did more and more of it. So that was a good thing. In fact, at this point, I've drawn the whole chest and shoulders as a character, but I wanted to share this part specifically. And I want to get your feedback as well. Do you want more specific videos like this, or what do you want on the channel? We just passed 250,000 subscribers. I'm very thankful for that. You guys have been awesome. I really can't believe it even got that big, but thank you so much. I want to continue to grow the channel and keep doing the videos that you want. But yeah, let me know in the comments section what you thought, what you'd like to see more of. And I really appreciate you watching today. So good luck with the art, and bye for now.